Something amazing has happened over at Fox News. The hosts of Fox and Friends are suddenly concerned about the rights of convicted felons.
I didn't realize this, but there's so many convicted felons out there that maybe they had an addiction, or they feel they were unjustly charged, or they had an indiscretion in their younger life, and they feel as though, not being able to vote, even though the president can vote in Florida, not being able to vote, not being able to travel to certain places, this is a scarlet letter they live with. And the number's like 70 million. And when you start ripping the president, you're a convicted felon, you're a convicted felon, this is a question now, are you alienating a lot of those people who say, this case doesn't make any sense. And this happened to me, whether it was legitimate or not, whether you're found innocent or not, whether you had an indiscretion, but you're now in your 60s or 70s, and you still got this hanging over your head, and your kids are embarrassed by it, your family's embarrassed.
But Brian,
wow, this is the ultimate, since it happened to me, even though it happened technically to someone that they like, it happens to be Republican, now I care about the issue because I now see the injustice. Wait, hold on. Where was Fox News when it came to the rights of felons to vote? Where were Republicans? Well, Republicans were on the side of not allowing felons to get back their right to vote. In fact, I remember Ron DeSantis literally arresting people with criminal records for voting after the state had sometimes told them that they were eligible to vote. So this goes back to 2018, where Florida voters actually approved an amendment that would restore voting rights to Floridians with past felony convictions. That was a win for voting rights, okay, for the rights of felons. I mean, by the way, this is except for anyone who was convicted of murder or sexual offenses. Florida voters were like, no, we should give, the majority of people their voting rights back. In fact, 65% of Florida voters approved that amendment. Now, DeSantis and his allies were like, oh, felons voting? Ooh, no, we can't have that. They actually passed Senate Bill 7066, which stipulated that you must also, in addition to serving your time and no longer, being in the prison system, you must also pay legal financial obligations associated with your past felony conviction, meaning you must pay to get your voting rights back. Okay. Now, the kicker is that the state had no central database for any information on convictions and the resulting financial obligations. That left a lot of voters rather confused, right? So these are people, again, who have served their time. They're no longer in the prison system. And they, are confused. Like, do I have the right to vote again? Did I get it back? I mean, last I heard that this amendment had passed, but I don't know if I'm eligible or not, right? And I don't know how much I have to pay to get my voting rights back, even though I did really what we were expected to do, which is to serve my time. Now, there was one person who was arrested, Nathan Hart, who was encouraged to register to vote when he went to the DMV. Now, he told the clerk, he's like, hey, look, my probation had ended, so can I register to vote? And this was after, the clerk was like, oh, just go ahead and sign up to register. He's like, I don't know. I was on probation. I'm not on probation anymore. That ended a couple of months ago. Am I even eligible? And she said, well, look, if they let you vote, then you can vote. If they don't, then you can't. You're not going to get in trouble. It's not like you're going to get arrested for this. And then he gets arrested for it, thanks to Ron DeSantis. There's another officer that was arrested, someone else, for doing something similar, registering to vote, even though, again, she had served her time. But apparently, there was, she didn't pay to get her voting rights back. The police officer was like, that's kind of BS. I mean, this is weird, right? These cases ended up falling apart. Another officer, by the way, arresting someone else was like, I've never seen these charges before in my entire life. When the police officer feels bad for arresting you, you know that there's something wrong with this law, okay? Like, they're like, sorry, dog, I can't, this is a waste of my time arresting you for this. But that's what Ron DeSantis did. And did Fox News talk about this? Did Fox News say, oh my God, what an injustice to these voters who had served their time? No, Fox News said absolutely nothing. Now, these cases ended up falling apart because they were on such shaky legal ground and were super unfair to people who had already served their time. Brian Kilmeade, did you speak up for these people? Did you say, wow, this is just absolutely unfair? They should have gotten their voting rights back. Ron DeSantis, you were a despicable person. How dare you punish these people who had served their time, these convicted felons, okay? They didn't say a damn thing. But now suddenly, oh, now we care. We care because, you know, the person that we like politically, Donald Trump, is now a convicted felon. And even though he doesn't actually suffer really any consequences for being a convicted felon, like he might suffer political consequences, possible jail time, very, very unlikely, maybe some fines, maybe house arrest at worst. No, we're going to say, oh my God, won't you think of the convicted felons? That is going to hurt Joe Biden with the convicted felon vote. No, in fact, co-host Lawrence Jones then tried to hit Democrats with hypocrisy. Get a load of this.
It's not just a question. These were supposed to be the Democrats' people. They said for years that they were advocates for the felons to be able to vote. Now, because it's Donald Trump, then we don't want felons to vote. They said that they don't want nonviolent offenders to be behind bars. Now, because it's Donald Trump, he should be jailed. They in an effort to get Donald Trump, they are flipping on every single issue that they believed at one point.
Aha, we got him. Oh, hypocrisy, Democrats. Did you though? I don't really see anything different from criminal justice reform advocates on this issue. Criminal justice reform, by the way, does not mean letting convicted criminals run rampant, okay? So there's a lot of propaganda going on about, political, criminal justice reform. A lot of politicians that are, saying just completely false things, political pundits as well, saying false things about what criminal justice reform advocates actually want. Look, across the country, all across the political aisle, a vast majority of voters actually believe that we should reform our criminal justice system, that we should reduce mass incarceration, that we should reduce the length of sentencing. We should end things like pretrial detention and get rid of mandatory minimums. These are all, again, as of 2024, polling on this is still massively in favor of criminal justice reform. And even though there's still a majority of Republicans that are in favor of these things, still, when it comes to Republicans, they're the least likely to support them. Okay? It's least likely to support reform. You want to talk about hypocrisy. You still have a great deal of Republicans who want to jail people, keep people in prison. But the rub is, of course, it's keep everyone in prison except for Donald Trump, except for wealthy white men. Okay? Because the people that are affected most by the criminal justice system happen to be young black men. Okay? And that's it. Trump is a white-collar criminal. Okay, so he's probably going to face no jail time, as I mentioned. I'd be shocked because, again, he's white and wealthy, politically connected, and he's a first-time offender. Okay, so I mean that's the reality. But I love how Brian Kilmeade just suddenly realized that being a convicted felon happens to close a lot of doors for average people. Some of the stuff that he was saying is not untrue, right? It's just he suddenly gets this empathy out of nowhere. Now, again, Trump, he can still vote. He's still going to vote for himself. He's still going to run for president. He just can't currently own a gun or serve on a jury. Wow. Literally no doors have been closed on Trump for earning a label that would wreck a normal person. A normal, average person would get destroyed by this label of being a convicted criminal. There would be a lot of things that they would not be able to do. And again, I'm not just talking about voting rights. I'm talking about social stigma, job stigma as well. So, I mean, that's important to point out. This segment is so absolutely ridiculous. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe, hit the bell icon in order to get notified whenever a new video is released. And if you want to support independent, progressive media through this difficult time where it seems like everybody is shutting down, become a member on our YouTube page, you can become a subscriber on Facebook, or you can go to my Patreon. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf. Thank you.